Hey everyone, welcome to part 19 of this trophy and achievement guide for Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. Thank you all for coming along on this journey with me, and a special thank you to all of the channel members who helped to support the channel, including our newest member, Clay. Now without further ado, let's dive right into it. We're at the entrance to the Deep Sea Research Center, and we want to go into our Guardian Force menu, and I'm going to highlight a few abilities that your Guardian Forces should be learning. Cerberus should be learning Speed Junction. Alexander should be learning Revive. In fact, he's pretty close to learning it already. We have a new Guardian Force, Behemoth. He's already learned some of his best abilities like Forbidden Magic Refine, as well as Ability ×4, Strength plus 60, and Magic plus 60. You've got a couple other options here at the bottom of the list. I'm going to go with Mug, although Auto Protect is pretty good too. And now Tonberry is going to learn a different ability. We're going to have him start learning Initiative so that we can take a turn right when battle begins. Now we'll go up to the Junction menu and we're going to go down to Zell. We're going to then junction the Guardian Force Behemoth onto him. Now we want to auto-junction his magic to the magic stat. That's very important. And you can see that now Zell has 4 abilities on the bottom. We're going to also give him magic plus 60% that we just got from Behemoth. Now let's go over to Squall, and we're going to also auto-junction his magic to the magic stat. And the same for Quistis. So now all 3 of our party members have auto-junctioned their magic toward the magic stat. That's going to reduce the amount of damage that they do while they're attacking, and that's good because we don't want to kill the monsters here, we only want to weaken them before using card on them. Then we'll save the game before continuing on. Let's go over toward the right-hand side, and there's a little bit of a bridge here that you can use to climb over to this large vine-looking thing, and we can use that to climb down to the lower level. Let's keep climbing down the vine all the way to the bottom. Quistis and Zell are going to walk away from us. We're going to go over to that magic draw point, and then we're going to draw some of this Dispel magic. Doesn't really matter who you put it on, I'll put it on Zell, and then I'm going to go and talk to Zell. Looks like it has multiple levels. Is there something at the bottom? Yo, what's that? You're right, what is that? There's a terminal buried underneath the rubble. Is it still functional? There's a bit of a puzzle here that we have to solve if we want to get all the way to the bottom of the Deep Sea Research Center so that we can fight the super boss and draw a new Guardian Force from him. This puzzle has to do with units of steam. We begin with 20 units of steam, and if we get all the way to the bottom and we still have 10 units of steam remaining, then we're able to open the door to where that super boss is. This is a 6-level pillar structure. We start at level 1 and we have to get all the way down to level 6 before entering the excavation site. As you can see, we have 20 units of steam pressure, and like I said before, we need 10 when we get to the bottom. Now to get down to the next floor, we need to use 4 units of steam, and then in the subsequent floors, we get to choose how many units of steam we're going to use. But don't worry, it's very simple. As soon as we use the 4 units of steam to get down to the lower level, we only have to choose using 1 unit of steam for all the remaining floors to get down to the bottom. Because we're taking Zell along with us, he actually allows us to get further because he's able to open a door without using any steam at all, and that's absolutely required to get down to the bottom level. So let's go ahead and use those 4 units of steam to open the door to the lower level, and then go down the stairs. We'll then go over to the machine at the back of the room, and we're going to interact with it, and we're going to choose to use 1 unit of steam. This will bring us down to 15 units remaining, and the door will open to level 3. Now let's go take those stairs down to level 3. We'll go down the stairs and interact with the machine in the back, and we're once again going to choose to use 1 unit of steam. We now have 14 units of steam remaining, and the door is going to open up, allowing us to get down to the 4th floor. Once again, head to the machine in the back, and we're going to choose to use 1 unit of steam. That's going to give us 13 units of steam remaining. And once the door opens, we'll go through it and go down to the next level. We'll go over and use the machine at the back, once again choosing 1 unit of steam. That's going to give us 12 remaining. There's no door to unlock this time, we just have to go over to the left and then we can use this elevator to get to a lower level. Now that we're here, we're going to interact with the big machine in front of us. Hold up a sec, let me take care of this machine here. We'll choose, well, Zell's pretty good with machinery. Sure, go for it. They call me the machine when it comes to mechanics. Leave it to me, baby. This must be it. This has to be. This is it, right? This ain't it. Hey, there's steam coming out everywhere. Okay, just let me think. Yo, this is it. This has to be, right? I never should have asked you. I don't want to have to resort to this, but... Opening door to excavation site, ocean deposit. See? There you go! So machine meaning fighting machine. Well, as long as we're in. Let's go through the newly opened door that Zell got open for us without using any steam at all. And then we're going to go forward and you can see a save point toward the back. Even though we have Encounter None equipped, we're still going to get in fixed battles on the floors as we descend lower. On this floor, we will only face these tri-face enemies, which are a good source of the Curse Spike item. There are multiple mandatory fights against these tri-faces on this floor, and you can't run away from them, so the best thing to do is to attack it a few times and then use the card ability to turn it into a card. You can card mod 1 tri-face card into 1 curse spike, so you'll have plenty of opportunity to get enough cards to create the 2 curse spikes that you need without having to do any extra farming. And at this point, Alexander did get enough AP in order to learn the Revive ability, and that's going to come in very handy very soon. Now let's make our way over to that save point, and we're going to open up the menu. Because Alexander learned an ability, we want to teach him a new one, so let's go to GF and then Alexander. I would recommend that you start teaching him med data, that will save some time later on, but if you don't do that, then Elemental Defense Junction ×4 is also a good choice. As I mentioned a moment ago, we need a total of 2 curse spikes before we leave this place, and if you go to the card mod ability, then you're able to turn those tri-face cards into curse spikes. We're going to get Selphie's ultimate weapon when we leave this place, and we need 2 curse spikes to craft it. We'll save the game before we continue along. There's only tri-face enemies on this floor, and they are mandatory fights in certain locations. We can't avoid them, and we can't run away from them. I am going to skip those battles though, just because I've already shown you the basic strategy of them. Hit it a couple times, turn it into a card, and then move on. And we'll work our way down the stairs to the next floor. We'll then continue to circle around the room in a clockwise manner, and there's going to be a different set of enemies on this floor that we have to deal with. On this floor, we have a Grendel and an Imp. The Grendel is actually the easier of the two enemies here. It's that little purple imp that we need to worry about. This guy is able to be turned into stone if we draw and cast the break spell on him. Now it's only a 20% chance that this works, but it's a really nice way to eliminate this enemy without actually killing it. It's pretty weak, it doesn't have a whole lot of health, so if we attack it with Squall, there's a good chance that it could die, and then we would get the experience for that, and we're really trying to avoid that. So I would recommend spending one turn just trying to turn it into stone. If none of your parties can do that with the break spell, then you can move on. Your second option is just to have Zell attack with Mug. That shouldn't do a whole lot of damage, but it should weaken it enough for Quistis to use her card ability to turn it into a card. And now we just have to take out that Grendel, who is pretty susceptible to sleep. So if you've got sleep junctioned onto status attack, you can put him to sleep, and then you've got plenty of opportunity to turn him into a card. Again, 1 or 2 attacks from Squall is probably all you need to lower his health enough to get a successful card. At the conclusion of this fight, I got enough AP in order for brothers to learn the HP plus 80% ability, which is useful for getting a trophy later on. And now we're going to continue running around clockwise until we get down to the very bottom of this area, and we'll move into a different zone. In this area, there's going to be a different enemy, and it's a staple of the Final Fantasy franchise, the Behemoth. Normally, Behemoths are pretty scary monsters, but not so much this time. All we have to do is have Squall attack, and there's a good chance that we can put him to sleep. After that, we can have Zell attack and Squall attack again, keeping him asleep, all the while Quistis is going to be trying to turn him into a card. At this level, he's got around 37,000 HP, so we definitely have a lot of leeway to attack him quite a bit. In fact, I could hit him probably 5 or 6 times, and then he'll be at about half health, and that should be good enough to card him. Once the battle's over, we'll collect any items as well as a good amount of AP, and then we'll keep going. At the bottom of the stairs is a draw point with the triple spell. We'll draw that into one of our characters, and then we're going to keep heading down the stairs. Again, there's going to be multiple opportunities to fight that Behemoth. Fight it the same way, just attack it, put it to sleep, lower its health, turn it into a card. When you get down to the lower level, we're going to keep going forward, and we're going to encounter a different enemy. This is going to be our good friend, the Ruby Dragon, that we fought many times already. Our method is the same as before. Hit it a couple times with attacks, maybe put it to sleep, and then card it. It's probably got around 7,000 HP at this point, so don't go too crazy. Probably only about 2 attacks from Squall is all you'll need. As we run along the path, we get into a fight with another Ruby Dragon, and at the conclusion of this fight, I got enough AP for Cerberus to learn the Speed Junction ability, and that's pretty useful. Let's take a second to open up the menu, then we can go to Junction and Zell. We want to go to Auto, and then Magic again, and that will automatically allocate Haste onto a speed stat, greatly increasing it. We'll keep going a little bit further, and then we're going to get into another fight against the Ruby Dragon. At the end of that fight, I saw that Ifrit learned his final ability, which is going to be called Mad Rush. And this will give us a good opportunity for me to show you something really cool that we can do with Guardian Force abilities. Let's start by going into the menu, and we'll see that yes, in fact, Ifrit has learned all of his abilities. He is learning nothing new here, everything says complete. What we can do is to go out of here, and we're going to go over to the item menu, and we're going to find the item called Amnesia Greens. These allow a Guardian Force to forget an ability. So we're going to use one of these on Ifrit. We get to choose which ability to get rid of. I'm going to get rid of Mad Rush because we don't need it at all. Now that freed up another spot, you can now see that he's eligible to learn Guardian Force HP plus 20%, but I'm just going to ditch the boost ability as well, and now there's a blank spot entirely. And I can use this Speed Junction scroll that we got earlier to teach Ifrit Speed Junction. And now all three of my characters are able to junction magic onto their speed stat. So looking at Quistis, she has haste equipped. With Squall, we're going to go to auto and then magic, and then he will also have haste allocated to it. And then Zell has haste, of course, because we just did that a moment ago. But now we can boost our stats even more. Let's go down to ability, and then we're going to select card mod. Let's find the Squall card that we got from Laguna, and we're going to transform it into 3 stars items. Once the Squall card is gone, we're going to leave the card mod menu, and we're going to go over to the Time Magic Refine ability. Let's go ahead and find those 3 stars, and we're going to convert each one of those into 100 triples. So we're going to give Squall 100 triples. We'll give Zell 100 triples. And Quistis 100 triples. Now we can go back to the junction menu, and we're once again going to hit auto and magic. And although we're not changing the speed stat, we are going to change the magic stat, and that's going to raise the magic stat from 96 to 110 on Quistis. On Squall, it's going to go from 70 up to 80, and with Zell, it's 108 to 124. You also may have noticed that it was the pain spell that was on the magic stat, but it went away as soon as we put the triples there. That pain magic actually went to status attack, which is great because pain can inflict poison, darkness, as well as silence. And being able to inflict darkness reliably is very important for the next fights on the next floor. The monsters here are going to be 2 iron giants. They are very strong physical attackers, but if we can inflict darkness on them, which we can now do very easily, then they really aren't much of a problem for us. Similar to the Ruby Dragon, these guys have about 7,000 HP. I find it works well to try to mug a star fragment out of them, and then do another mug with Zell. So that's 2 attacks from Zell, and also do 2 attacks from Squall, and hopefully you're able to inflict darkness with one of those. And then they should be primed and ready to be turned into a card from Quistis. So again, we're going to mug and attack, and then we're going to once again mug and attack, and that should be enough to turn him into a card. You've got a 25% chance to mug and steal a star fragment from these guys, and because we're using 4 mugs throughout the course of the fight, we should be able to, on average, get at least one of those star fragments in the fight. And that's important because we need a total of at least 3 star fragments in order to create Selphie's ultimate weapon by the time we're done with this place. So let's go ahead and just finish up these fights, and we're going to move on. Just always try to mug star fragments out of them so that you'll end up with 3 of them by the time we're done with this floor. Once we get to the bottom floor and defeat the super boss, all of these enemies are going to go away, so you're on a bit of a time limit. You've got to defeat them, but luckily these enemies will keep showing up over and over again, so you can leave the floor and come back, and then you'll be able to fight them all again, no problem. We'll keep working our way down the stairs, getting into other fights, and at this point I did get Tonberry to learn the initiative ability, which is going to come in very handy very soon. We'll keep going down the stairs, and there's going to be an Ultima draw point right here. Let's go ahead and draw Ultima onto one of our characters. Don't worry though, we're going to get lots of Ultimas when we fight the super boss. And now we'll head down to the lower level. We've reached the lowest level, and there's going to be a save point over here. We'll run over to it, and then we'll open up the menu. We can quickly heal up all of our party members by using a tent. And now we're going to go to the junction menu, and we're going to choose Quistis. Let's go over to ability, and we'll see that on the bottom she has auto haste, initiative, and magic plus 40%, but I want to give her a 4th ability. In order to do that, we're going to go over to the item menu, and we're going to find some more of those amnesia greens that we bought earlier. Let's use some Amnesia Greens on Quetzalcoatl. We can get rid of the boost ability because we never use that, and then we can drop something else if we want to. Everyone has items, so I can drop that ability without costing myself anything. And then I see that I have a blank spot, and that's perfect. Now what I can do is to go back to the item menu, and I want to find something called a Rosetta Stone. It's very close by. We'll just go down 2 spots here, and this will teach a Guardian Force the ability times 4 ability. We got the Rosetta Stone by trying to access Cheryl's shop in the SR shopping mall over and over again until it dropped for us. Now we can go over to the junction menu to Quistis, and we have 4 abilities. We're going to also give her Vitality plus 60%. And then we don't need Card for the next fight, so we're going to replace it with Revive that we learned from Alexander. Now let's back out of this menu, and we're going to go over to Zell, and we're going to set up his abilities. We can take off Encounter None because we don't need it for the next fight, and we can put on something more useful like HP plus 40% for more health, Strength plus 40% for better attack, Vitality plus 40% for more defense, or Spirit plus 40% for more magic defense. The choice is yours. I'm just going to go with HP. Once you're all done, then go ahead and save the game, and we're going to go over toward the right and use the machine. Steam pressure 10 needed to continue operation. 10 or more has been confirmed. Continue with the operation? Yes. What was going on down here? Resuming operation. Can't wait to see what happens. They invested so much in this facility. There must be something here. What's going on? Excavation resuming. All except the leader must take shelter. Warning, please take shelter. Excavation resuming. All except the leader must take shelter. The rocks are resonating. The air is pretty heavy. And now we're put into a fight against one of the game's super bosses. This is Ultima weapon. And if his sword looks familiar to you, it's because it's the same as Cloud's ultimate weapon from Final Fantasy VII, which bears the same name as this monster, Ultima weapon. The very first thing that you should do in this fight is to use the draw command to draw a new Guardian Force out of him, and it's called Eden at the bottom of the list. And this will also get you the Eden trophy or achievement for getting a new Guardian Force. Now we're going to spend our turns drawing the Ultima spell out of him with all of our party members. Usually Ultima would be difficult to draw and you'd only get a few at a time, but because we auto-allocated our magic toward the magic stat, we're definitely able to draw this a lot easier. I would also recommend spending some time drawing and casting the regen spell on all of your characters. Thanks to our very high speed stat, we're going to get a lot of turns, and when we get a turn, we're able to heal ourselves as well, and we should be able to get more healing than the damage that he's doing to us. He hit me with a really strong Gravija spell, which takes away 3/4 of everyone's health, but thanks to regen, we're going to be getting our health back really quickly. And now it's just a matter of keep drawing those Ultima spells until everyone gets up to 100 of them. Ultima weapon also knows Quake, which can damage all of your party members and do a good bit of damage, but that's okay. Our regen is going to help us out with that, and we'll be getting all of our health back in no time. Meteor is a spell that will hit multiple times and will hit all 3 of your party members randomly. Luckily, it doesn't do too much damage, certainly nothing that regen can't take care of. All the while, just keep drawing those Ultimas out of him until all 3 characters get to 100. Now let's talk about his most powerful ability. It's called the Light Pillar, and it does 9,999 damage to one party member. He can also use it multiple times in a row, which can be pretty scary. If Quistis goes down, quickly have someone use a Phoenix Down on her to pick her back up. And then you can have the other party member draw and cast Regen onto her, and then she'll start healing. But if he uses Light Pillar on another party member, like Zell or Squall, then you want to have Quistis use her Revive command to resurrect that party member all the way back up to full health, and you do it without using any item or any of your stocked magic. And even though they'll be at full health, you can still draw and cast Regen on them so that they can keep up with heals as the Ultima weapon continues to damage us. And we'll keep going with this pattern until we get everyone up to 100 Ultimas. At that point, you want to wait for Ultima weapon to take Squall out with a Light Pillar. We won't use the Revive command, instead we're just going to use a Phoenix Down on him to pick him up. Now he's going to be in critical health, and we can have Quistis then use her magic command to cast a Meltdown onto Ultima weapon. Meltdown is a magic that reduces the target's vitality to 0, which basically means he has no more defense. Now you can have Squall use his Renzokuken Limit Break, and you're always going to get 7 attacks with this one with a special animation. At this level, Ultima weapon has about 60,000 HP or so it might take a couple of those Renzokukens to take him out, but really it's a quick process when you want to eliminate him. Just hit him with that Meltdown, and then hit him with a Renzokuken. You'll do tons of damage, and he'll be gone. If you can successfully mug him, you'll get a 3 stars, which you can convert into 100 triples, or if you don't mug him, then he will drop 100 Ultima stones, which you can turn into 100 Ultima spells. Because he's a boss, we don't get any experience, but we do get an Eden card, and we also get 100 AP, which will definitely be enough for multiple of our Guardian Forces to learn new abilities. And then we get to name our new Guardian Force. I'm going to stick with Eden. We can go to the nearby save point to save the game, and then we want to make our way all the way back up to the top floor. All the monsters have disappeared. I don't have Encounter None equipped anymore, so I'm going to run up here, but as you can see, I'm not going to get into a single fight all the way up. I'm just going to let it play out now as we run all the way up to the top, and I'll see you at the top floor. Alright, we made it, and there's going to be a nearby draw point for some more Dispel magic. We'll go ahead and draw that, and then we want to climb up this weird vine thing until we get up to the top. And once we're at the top, we're going to go toward the left side and exit the Deep Sea Research Center. We'll run along the path all the way until we get back inside the Ragnarok. We'll open up the main world map and we want to go to Balam, which is located on this island kind of in the middle of the map. And our autopilot is going to take us there. Once we arrive outside of Balam, we can go ahead and park the Ragnarok, and then we're going to go inside of Balam. We'll keep running down toward the bottom. We'll head over by the draw point and then toward the left so that we can go to the junk shop here. We can actually make multiple ultimate weapons for our party members, but we're really focused on Selphie. We want to create her strange vision because it gives us perfect accuracy, 255%, and boosts our strength a little bit. All we need is one adamantine that we got when we modified the Minotaur card a long time ago, 3 star fragments that we got from the Iron Giants, and 2 curse spikes that we got from the Tri-Faces. And now if you have the materials, you can remodel anyone else's weapons to their stronger or ultimate weapons if you want to, such as Renoa's Shooting Star. If you don't have the materials, that's totally okay. There's no trophy or achievement related to getting all of their ultimate weapons, and really only the ones for Squall and for Selphie are required. All the other ones are completely optional, and the upgrade that you get for someone's ultimate weapon isn't even all that great. So don't worry if you don't have any of the other materials, but if you do, then go ahead and remodel the weapons and make them a little bit stronger. Once you're done upgrading any weapons, we're just going to head back outside of Balam and we're going to save the game. And this is where we're going to end part 19. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. In part 20, we're going to clean up all of the other trophies before going into the final dungeon. So it's going to be completely action-packed, and I know you're going to get a lot out of it. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing to join our amazing community and stay up to date with the last few parts of this guide. I'll see you soon in part 20. Until then, thanks for watching and have a good day.